All right. I got this tier list made, finally. Something that's being done on this channel. So I threw together this tier list here of recording techniques, and I'll tell you if they're any good or bad. I don't know. These are all things that I've done in the past, and some I have strong opinions on, some I think are just okay for certain scenarios. Others I would never try again, unless proven wrong. So, let's get started, I suppose. First up, miking the batter side of a kick drum. Instant A tier. Not always necessary, there's ways to get around it, but this is a tried and true way of getting more tack and presence of a kick drum. It's great for hard rock songs. Could work well for laid back R&B kind of stuff where you want the kick to be known. The only time I wouldn't put a mic on the batter side of a kick drum is if I just don't have enough preamps or tracks, if I'm limited in any sort of way. But if I can help it, it's there's gonna be a mic on the kick drum for sure, or a mic on the batter side of the kick for sure. Next up, DI'd acoustic guitar. C tier. If it's not going to be on a final track, if you're just getting ideas down, it's convenient, it's great, but those acoustic guitar pickups, they all sound the same, and they do not sell the illusion of listening to an acoustic guitar at all. They sound nothing like an acoustic guitar. There's records, like very popular records, that have been ruined by these sounds. A lot of the stuff in the middle of Foo Fighters' career. No. Do not release a track with a DI'd acoustic guitar. Just place a microphone. It's not that hard. If you have an XLR cable, I'm assuming you have a microphone. Next up, DI box for bass. B tier. It's definitely above the DI'd acoustic guitar for sure. Oftentimes when I am recording bass, I'm ditching the DI track. I'm throwing it out. I don't need it. I'd rather just have a RE20 or Shure SM7 on the bass track. There's definitely genres of music where a DI'd bass is more usable, kind of classic, laid-back rock stuff, flat wounds like Beatles kind of stuff, R&B, a lot of modern genres of music where you're not trying to sell the illusion of a sense of space. DI bass works fine. If I'm making a rock song with a bit more ambiance and room, and the tracks can breathe a little more, I'm not using a DI bass. I'd rather mic up with the bass cab. If you're able to get both, that's the best. Even if you're going to ditch the DI track or one or the other, it's great to have as a backup if you need to reamp for whatever reason and you like the performance. It's great safety, but it's not always needed, and I'm often ditching the DI bass track. Next up, double track guitars. It's a tough one. I kind of feel like it could be either of these rows, and that's kind of an unpopular opinion. I think it's a great technique, but I think it's overused, for sure. I don't think every aspect of a song needs to have double-tracked guitars. I think it kind of can break your immersion in a track, kind of ruins intimacy. I think it's effective for some of a song to be double-tracked. I think a chorus can work great double-tracked. I think if you're going for a more shoegazy kind of song, it makes sense to double-track your guitar. If you're going for like a lot of modern genres of metal, it makes sense to double-track your guitar. A lot of alternative rock songs, I don't think the entire song needs to have a double track. I think it's effective to remove it when it needs to be removed and add a double track when it makes sense to have a double track. I think people are not using it properly, or they're using it properly, but they're not using it in a way that would make it more effective. I think adding and removing elements of a song can help sell the dynamic of a song. So I think it properly belongs in A tier, but I think it's definitely overdone. vocal distortion through guitar amplifier. This picture's cut off, but it's a microphone plugged into an amplifier. I think it's great. I think it's great. It beats creating distortion out of a box in the computer with plugins. Not just because like I'm some kind of purist with analog gear, but like I think it sells the effect a lot more. I don't know. I prefer the results. Yeah, I think it's just a great way to get like a strokesy, early strokes distortion effect. It's great. Big fan. Continuing on with vocals, multi-track vocals. Kind of the same as the multi-track guitars. I think it can work great, but it doesn't need to be the entire song. I think if you're trying to go for more of an atmospheric kind of grandiose sound, I love having like 4 vocal tracks going at once and like a outro chorus. It's wonderful. It's tried and true and it works well. Just use it wisely and use it with intent, and don't feel like it needs to be the entirety of a song. Room microphones. S tier. S tier. I can't think of a single song I would record where I'm not putting room mics on at least the drums and at least the vocal. I use it on guitar when I can. It is probably the most important tool in my toolbox. I can't imagine making a song without room mics. It sells this sense of scale for what you're recording, or makes the entire song more immersive. It's wonderful. If I'm stuck with only using 4 microphones to record an entire record live, I can ditch it. But I would just straight up hold off on recording anything until I would get a bigger interface. I would drive down to Guitar Center that day and buy an interface and more microphones. Just spend a couple extra $100 on 2 SM57s and just lay them on the floor. I can't imagine. Recording's not happening until they're there. Bottom micing snare. I think probably A tier. There's a lot of high-end you capture with the bottom snare microphone. You blend it to taste with the top snare, you blend it to taste with the room mics, the drum room mics, and the overheads. It's great. I can ditch it. It doesn't need to be there. If I don't have enough tracks or I don't have enough microphones, I can make do without it. But much like the beater side kick drum mic, I'm gonna fight to make sure that it's on the track sheet for the recording. Recommend adding it. Miking the back of guitar cab. D tier. The logic is sound why you'd want to put a mic there. Open back cabinets do have a sound. They sound different than closed back cabinets, but I think we're going about recording it wrong. No one is behind the cabinet when they're listening to it. Maybe the roadies backstage at a big venue, if you're lucky to have it backstage. No one's hearing it. Why are we recording it? Put an ambient mic further away in front of the in front of the cab. And that's what you're likely hearing. That's why your ears don't hear what your closed mic hears, because you're listening from a distance in front of the open back cabinet. Recording the back of the open back cabinet is just mud and low end and just muffly noises that you're going to have to EQ out to make room for the bass and kick drum. There's a lot of engineers that swear by doing this, but they're hearing something that I'm not hearing. It's not worth doing. It's complete waste of a microphone. Last one on my list here. Stereo miking, just in general. This may be up there with S tier. This may be even a substitute for double tracking in a lot of cases. I would rather stereo mic one performance. It'll sound a little more accurate and still add width to my record. Stereo miking the overheads on drums is damn near a necessity for me, because I'm trying to emulate what the drummer is hearing when they're playing, and they have 2 ears. They're encased in these drums. It just makes sense to record drums in stereo with overheads. You can get a lot of space and width in a mix without having to muddy it all with multi-tracking. If you're utilizing stereo and panning, don't need to stereo mic everything. You don't need to have stereo close mic'd vocals or stereo bass, obviously, but ambient stereo microphones for vocals I highly recommend trying that. Mess around with stereo stuff when you have the time. You'll have immersive and more natural sounding tracks. Hopefully this encourages you to try some new techniques. A lot of this stuff is kind of basic, but if you haven't placed a mic on the better side of a kick drum, do it. It's great. It's wonderful. I love it. Mess around with stuff and you become better at recording, and we can all hear better sounding music. Cool.